Title of this segment, Donald Trump listens to Jimmy Dore. What? Get the F making stuff up. Well, I got invited to go on the Tucker Carlson show again last week, Thursday. And again, it's my pet issue, which is war and stopping the wars. It's nuts what's going on. So I got invited to go on Tucker Carlson, and there's a real chance that there's a real chance. I don't know. I'm not saying there's a real possibility. I'm saying there's a real chance, which is different than a certainty probability. There's a chance that Trump could pull troops out of Afghanistan and the Middle East. There's a chance. So this is what I said on Tucker Carlson.
Jimmy Dore is the host of The Jimmy Dore Show. This is a subject he's followed very carefully for a while. Jimmy Dore, thanks so much for coming on. Are we ever getting out of Afghanistan, do you think?
Well, if we ever are going to get out of it, it's got to happen before the end of the year, before Biden and his military-industrial complex goons take over, because they're never going to get us out of there. So Donald Trump has a chance right now, right? Mr. Art of the Deal. Don't be afraid of Mitch McConnell. What he's got to do is order those troops home right now and then have them fight it out in Congress. Have them reveal this. If he has to blow up the GOP to do it, do it. He can be a man right now who goes into history books if he does that. Does he want to go down and being a big shot on Twitter? He can do it right now. I mean, he's been commander-in-chief for 4 years. Now, I know he's head-faked and said he wanted to take people out before, and he's drawn down troops here and there, and then he's ramped them back up in the Gulf and done other things. Now is the time for Donald Trump. Everybody is sick and tired of these wars. You know it, I know it, left, right, in the center. Sure. Everybody wants these wars over. Donald Trump can do it, and he can be a man of consequence instead of letting it, because he didn't give everybody health care. He didn't drain the swamp. He didn't bring our troops home. He can still do that. He can pull this off. It's not too late. Is Trump for real? Because if he brings our troops back home and invests that money back here, he will be remembered as a historically consequential president instead of an aberration in a reality TV show host who got lucky. Trump, he's forgetting what got him elected in 2016. He didn't fulfill any of those promises. Now is a chance for him to do it. Bring those troops home. Show Mitch McConnell you're the boss, not him. Expose the warmongers in Washington and in the military-industrial complex, like he said, and do it now. If he doesn't bring the troops home by Christmas, then Donald Trump is not the art of the deal. Donald Trump is weak. Donald Trump doesn't follow through on his own promises. So he's got to bring those troops home by Christmas, and then you'll know Donald Trump is the art of the deal, and then you'll know he means business. But if he doesn't, you know he just rolled over again for the intelligence community and the military-industrial complex. Because it's been 4 years. I get, hey, he's appointing McGregor now. That's fantastic. It's a little late, right?
What does it tell you? You said a second ago that the public supports this left, right, and center, and I think all the polls show that. No one can explain why we're in Afghanistan, and yet we're still there. What does it tell you about our system, about the democracy and the health of the democracy, that the public wants something and has wanted something for a long time, but it doesn't happen under any administration? What does that reveal?
Well, we have to resist the undue influence of the military-industrial complex is what it tells me. That was another president who told us that. What it also tells me is that our vote doesn't really matter when it comes to foreign policy one bit, right?
Yeah,
because people want, even a president wanted to bring people home. And who really is pulling the levers? It's the military-industrial complex and their toadies in Senate and the Congress. Donald Trump is the commander-in-chief. Do this.
I agree with that. Jimmy Dore, thanks so much for coming on tonight. Good to see you.
Thanks.
It's nice to see I'm wearing the exact same thing. Actually, I have a different. This is a gray T-shirt. I had a black T-shirt on, so that is different. But that's what I had to say. That's what I went on Tucker Carlson on the outside chance that the president watches. I know the president watches that show. That's not an outside chance. But at the outside chance he sees that segment, and who knows? Well, guess what? Trump orders Pentagon to pull 2,500 troops from the Afghanistan and Iraq. If I known it was that easy, I would have said it went on, hey, give everybody health care and a UBI. I should have just said that. Hey, how about give everybody a Green New Deal and a living wage? A weak president would you'd be strong if you did that. Anyway, Again, he had 4 years to do all this. He has, he ramped down in certain places, then he put troops back in other places. So it's 6 to 1, half a dozen. He hasn't started any new wars. He has ramped up the drone war like nuts. Hey, President Trump is expected to order the Pentagon to withdraw forces from Iraq and Afghanistan, furthering his promise to end U.S. involvement in world conflicts and defying many Republicans and many Democrats, too. The orders would call for the U.S. military to draw down the number of troops in both countries to roughly 2,500 each day by January 15th, 5 days before President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration. So I'm going to show you what happened when they started. So that's unbelievable. So we already covered the story. McGregor, he appointed McGregor, got rid of Esper, the guy straight from Raytheon. And so now is Trump on? Does he mean it? We'll see. But watch this. This is CNN. Watch how they talk about this. You want to see some? We already showed you CNN doing pro-war propaganda in print. Here they are with their on-air hosts. Watch.
There's probably an element of this that is about weakening Joe Biden as much as possible for purely.
So just so you know what she's saying that Trump is going to draw down the troop levels in the Middle East, the thing, something he ran on, something everybody wants done left, right, and in the middle. And this person on CNN says he's doing that to hurt Joe Biden. What? That's a grown-up person said that. And those other two people are like, yeah, that makes sense. This is what you get on CNN. Watch this.
Political reasons, because this is a president who is going to be leaving the White House while also ceding the ground for a potential second run for office. And he's also trying to build a foundation upon which Republicans can continue to succeed with Trumpism. And in order to do that, he has to be able to say, I promise to get us out of these foreign wars, and the Democrats want to keep us in these foreign wars. So a lot of this is about being able to have a rhetorical platform for the president. But again, as you point out, there are obviously real life consequences. And I think the most important part of this that sticks out to me that we can't forget is that the president just.
Let me just stop it there. She just said there are real life consequences to endless war. There's real life consequences to endless war, not real life consequences to ending a war. There are real life consequences to endless war, talking head on CNN. And if the troops come home, I frankly don't care who does it. Obama, Biden, Trump, or Mickey Mouse. I don't care who does it. And I certainly don't care if it hurts a war hawk president like Joe Biden. Hey, we may be de-escalating troops. I don't know how I feel. How will this affect Joe Biden in 2024?
Platform for the president. But again, as you point out, there are obviously real life consequences. And I think the most important part of this that sticks out to me that we can't forget is that the president just spent the last 2 weeks purging the civilian leadership of the Pentagon. We have to ask real questions about why that happened and what was the end game. Why would the president try to do that was the question that we had all along. And maybe now we're seeing one of the main reasons why. And that should really be an alarming thing for a lot of people in Washington.
So Trump just cleaned house at the Pentagon and got in some people who he wants to get us, what he seems to be signaling to get us out of these wars and draw down the troops. And she just said that's dangerous. Now we see this is dangerous. Did you hear what she said? I'm backing up.
Try to do that was the question that we had all along.
Why is he trying to do it?
Maybe now we're seeing one of the main reasons why, and that should really be an alarming thing for a lot of people in Washington.
You should be alarmed that Trump is trying to end one of the 8 wars we're in, that Trump is trying to de-escalate a war. You should be alarmed that he's trying to do that. And why is he? Because it might hurt Joe Biden. That's why you should be alarmed. I'm not making that up. That's what she said, right? I wish there was another person here. Because I often think I'm crazy when I'm watching CNN. And it turns out, no, that's exactly what they said. They're just crazy.
And Gloria, I mean, if he's, doing this to weaken Joe Biden, he's doing this at the expense of the safety of American troops.
Absolutely.
To do something this quickly. I mean, not that we should be particular.
Okay, so this is what's called attacking Trump from the right. Do you understand? So Trump is trying to de-escalate a war, bring our troops home, and they're going, wait a minute. There's something wrong with Trump doing that. He should ramp up. So what they're wanting is for Trump to keep the wars going. That's attacking him from the right. He needs to be more war hawky. And look at this. And she has a serious, look at how serious her face is. It's a serious face. Her lips are pursed. She's also, look at her. She's over it. Yeah. We got to keep the wars going. Got to keep them going. You just do. I've never fought in a war, never will fight in a war, never had my kids murdered in a war, but we got to stay there.
Particularly surprised. We're also watching him stand idly by while Americans die, and he doesn't really seem to give a damn.
So here is Trump trying to bring the troops back home, and they're saying he's standing by while people idly die. But you like them to die in Afghanistan, Syria, Libya, right? You'd like that? Iraq, the Sudan, Somalia. You'd like them to die there. You just don't want them to die at home from COVID. It's a squiggly line of morality you have. COVID death bad, war death good. Isn't that something?
That they're dying of coronavirus. He hasn't changed his tune. He just pretends it doesn't exist.
So she's pretending to care about the people who die in America about coronavirus. And what you're revealing is that you don't give a damn about the troops, soldiers, or anybody else who dies in our foreign wars. That's what you're saying. Screw those people. Jesus. Talk about Trump derangement. This isn't Trump derangement system. This is just what CNN does. They're pro-war all the time.
And here he is doing something that really could put at risk American troops.
Right. Absolutely. And I think
black is white, up is down. He could be risking troops by bringing them home. Because everyone knows that they could slip off the plane when they land in the United States. What? He is risking the lives of troops by taking them out of a war. Like you could say and by the way, that'll never be censored on Twitter, but they'll censor President Trump, but they'll never censor that. Ever. But they'll censor you if you try to tell the truth about Joe Biden. But pro-war, advocating for death, never be censored on Twitter or Facebook or anywhere else.
I think what he wants to do, as Abby is saying, is drop a problem in Joe Biden's lap. And if you know the history of Joe Biden, he has not been one who is for robust military intervention.
Tell that to the people of Iraq, Serbia, Kosovo, Libya, Syria. Tell that to those people. Tell that to those people that he's not one for a military intervention. She's just straight up lying. Like, that's as big as a lie I've ever seen on television, and that's really saying something. That's as big a lie as Trump has ever told. What she just said is a bigger lie than anything Trump has ever said. Joe Biden isn't for military intervention? What are you, nuts? No, you're not nuts. You're just a paid liar. You're a paid propagandist. Joe Biden was for the Iraq war before the war, during the war, after the war, after it was clear it was wrong, he was still for it. He shamed Democrats who were against the Iraq war. And that's why she's paid to come on and lie. Because that's what she does. That's what they do. They're paid liars. Isn't it nice? You could get women to lie just as much as men. Isn't that great? She wanted to show you it's not just Trump. We can all do it. crazy warmongers. They don't give a damn about the troops. They care less about the troops than Trump does. They don't give a shit. They'd have your kid killed, somebody else's kid killed, as long as they can keep coming on television. Whatever the CNN wants me to say. Is Trump for bringing home troops? Well, then we're against it. Is Trump for clean water? Then we're against it. Hey, everybody, this is the part where I tell you where all our live shows are, but there aren't any. And then this is why I tell you to join our premium program and get extra content, but nobody's got a fucking job. So just enjoy the video.